Hi, this is the voice of Heidie Calero with another economic capsule regarding the Puerto Rico economy. And today we have entitled our economic capsule as "Is Tourism Back?" with a question mark. Well, last week we made a reference to Oxford Economics study regarding the impact that Airbnb had in Puerto Rico, and we said, it's not credible in terms of the jobs that it says that it's creating or even its contribution to GNP. Today we are following with the same topic as to tourism, which is not an industry, it is an activity which really is made up of restaurants and hotels, inns, it's made up of entertainment, it's made up of transportation, restaurants. All that is part of the activity of tourism. This first graph that I'm depicting for you is on the left hand side is the world map on the contribution of world tourism in 2019. As you can tell, travel and tourism represented almost in the Caribbean 13.7% impact in terms of its gross domestic product. In terms of US, it was 11.1%. In Canada, 9.1%. In Europe, it was 8.4%. In Asia Pacific, 9.8%. But let's now look at what has happened after COVID-19 in 2020. Well, this is the world map as of the impact in 2022 compared with 2019. Have we recovered? The outstanding and resonant answer is no, not yet. And as you can see there, all of it is negative, from the Caribbean to Europe to the United States. So overall, world tourism in 2022 versus 2019, we have not yet recovered. Let's then land in Puerto Rico, and this next graph shows the potential of tourism in Puerto Rico. It's not really potential because it has been realized. These are historical figures, but we have always said that Puerto Rico it has an untapped potential which we haven't realized. Then in the columns in 2010 through 2022 are visitors' expenditures. It's published by the Puerto Rico Planning Board, and the orange line is that percentage that they contribute to GNP. The share of those visitors' expenditures as a percentage of GNP in 2010, $3.2 billion in visitors' expenditures, accounting for 5% of GNP in Puerto Rico. If we move fast forward to 2016, they accounted for almost $4 billion or 5.7% in terms of GNP, the closest and the highest we've been in a historical trend. And then COVID hit us in 2020, and in 2022 we have 3.3 billion in visitors expenditures and only 4.3%. So overall, the growth from 2016 through 2022 of all these visitors expenditures has been a negative 2.9%. So no, we have not recovered. But let's look at something interesting: income and employment multipliers, which tell you for these two activities, hotels on the left hand side, 2007 and 2012, and on the right hand side for restaurants. And if we had seen employment multipliers increasing from 2007 to 2012, then that means that tourism activity has been more and more ingrained into the Puerto Rican economy, and it has more of an impact. But what you're depicting in this graph is really the opposite. We are seeing that the employment multiplier has been going down in hotels. So for instance, in 2007, for every 100 employees in hotels or in travel accommodations, it accounted for 81 jobs in the rest of the economy. But going forward to 2012, that's not even 2023, that's 2012. 11 years ago, for every 100 jobs, it only accounts for 49 jobs. Same thing for restaurants, 2.34, which means that for every 100 jobs in restaurants, 134 were created in 2007, and now only 114 jobs were created. Let's look then at this next graph, which is the income multiplier. Again, 2007 compared to 2012, both for hotels and restaurants. And in hotels, again, the multiplier is going in the opposite direction. In 2007, for every $100 of income generated in hotels, $65 in the rest of the economy. Coming to 2012, the same $100 now account for only $45 in the rest of the economy. Same thing for restaurants, $202 for every $100. It was generated $163 in the rest of the economy, and now it only represents $159. What does that mean? It means that decoupling of tourism with the rest of the economy. And we are putting all our eggs in one basket. It's not just now, but it's been a trend that has been resistant. It has not moved. 95% of most of the visitors who come to Puerto Rico come from the U.S. From January to July 2022, the latest figures we have from the Puerto Rico Tourism Company, there were 1.1 million visitors in Puerto Rico. 95% came from the US, Latin America only 1%, Europe only 1%, and the rest of the world only 3%. It's true the US is closest, our closest neighbor. Well, so is the rest of the Caribbean, and they managed to bring from other parts of the world like the Dominican Republic, and yet Puerto Rico is just hooked onto only the United States. Well, we need to diversify the geographical origin of our visitors, because that's what really makes for a resilient and forceful tourist sector in Puerto Rico. And then finally, the World Travel Tourism Organization has published that from 2022 through 2032, the strongest growth in tourism and GDP will be, guess what? Asia Pacific, Hong Kong with 15%, Bangkok 13%, Saudi Arabia, Riyadh and Jeddah, again, double digits in terms of their contribution to GDP. Japan, 8%, and Puerto Rico is just decoupling. The island is beautiful, but you cannot expect that by the Holy Spirit there's going to be some inspiration and that things are just going to happen and move all the figures in the chessboard. No, Puerto Rico has to really go and do a strategy, make a strategy, follow that strategic plan to geographically diversify tourism, to see how it can integrate more those income and employment multipliers. Otherwise, we're just missing great opportunities, and the competition is fierce. So Puerto Rico, wake up, smell the coffee. It's not going to be easy, but there are lots of fruits in terms of the future, if only we coordinate and we focus on what needs to be our vision for the future and economic growth. If you like our economic capsule, don't forget to subscribe to the Voice of Heidie Calero in YouTube. Give us a like to those capsules that you like. Remember that this is a service of Puerto Rico Economic Pulse, and that the economy is all of us. Thank you.